Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Figura Obscura Ghost of Christmas Past from Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol and the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios. That is right, it is that time of year again where the Horsemen unleash a holiday-themed Figura Obscura release onto all of us Legionnaires, and this year we have the Ghost of Christmas Past, which makes sense because last year we got the Ghost of Jacob Marley. The only thing that sucks is next year's going to be Christmas Present, the year after that's going to be Christmas Future, and the year after that is most likely going to be Scrooge because A Christmas Carol is a 5-part, 5-chapter, whatever you want to call it, story, and they seem to be doing these things one at a time, which for quality reasons is good, but for my patience is not, because I'm going to be like 30 by the time they wrap this up, so that kind of sucks. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Christmas Past has to offer in terms of accessories. And just to address the elephant in the room, there is a secret surprise that I will be unveiling at the end of the video, so stay tuned towards the end for that, or, you know, click off if you don't want to be spoiled. That said, we do get a mini comic of the second part of A Christmas Carol, and a nice little Ziploc baggie, might I add. So that's nice. I don't know if, like the Jacob Marley mini comic, there's like a little teaser that says you will be haunted again in 2025, but I can only assume that there might be something in there. I haven't checked myself, and I haven't heard anything from anybody in the various Facebook groups and whatnot about that. But as far as actual accessories for Christmas Past goes, she's got a pair of fisticuffs. Alright, we got a pair of, these are very interesting, these are like claw hands, so this Ghost of Christmas Past likes to get down and scrap with people. She ain't taking no BS from nobody. She's got a pair of incorrect hinges for holding weapon grip hands, but that's okay, she comes with the right ones on her. Well, actually, I swapped those on, but you can interchange them and whatnot. That's the point. She does have this very pretty, kind of elfish head, and you can swap it out for this very rotten, decayed old woman head with blank eyes. All you got to do for that is pop it out like so, and you can pop this in here. In fact, I think it came packaged like this. So there you go. It stays on nice and snug. But there you go. You got another variation of Thrace Wraithhaler for all the good old do you. That said, the head she's got on her is the one I prefer. So that we will be taking a closer look at in just a moment here. She does come with her cap to snuff out the light. It does actually fit on her head. So you can make her a decrepit clown lady if you want. I know that's not what that's for, but I can't help but make the joke. She's got a new back adapter, which is a little bit more sleek in design. And it's got 2 arms attached to it, because what the Horsemen did is they tried to depict movement, much like when Hasbro does the spinny hammer effects for Thor figures. That's kind of what Horsemen were trying to do with this. That said, the arms are fully articulated, so you know the shoulders will go in and out. They will rotate forward and back. She does have single jointed elbows, rotation at the elbow, swivel at the wrist with a hinge. You know, the whole 9 yards. And it's got that rectangular peg that plugs into the back. It's almost like an L shape, like a fat L. A fat L, man, shaped. So it's nice and snug. I will tell you, it snaps in there pretty darn good, so be mindful of that. But it's a very sleek design. It's a little bit more streamlined than the back adapters we're used to. Hindsight, I probably should have pulled one out for comparison, but there is that. She also has a variation of that cap This is more like something you would use to put out candles. The top is removable, so you can pop that off if you want. I will most likely have her holding this, because I do like this accessory quite a bit. It's a cool little staff. And then she does come with the holly. Now, you will notice the leaf is kind of bent on mine. It's not, like, messed up. It's just thin as a, we'll say pine needle. And I would recommend heating this thing up before you put it in her hand, because it is a PVC material, but it is a little bit on the tougher side of PVC, so it doesn't have a lot of give to it initially, but when you heat it, it goes to and it makes it a little easier, a little less yeek to put in her hand. You don't got to worry about snapping something as much. Not that I'm really worried about that, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry. She does also come with a lamp post, which is pretty cool. It is removable from this piece. And just plug it in there. And then you do get a base with some snow and a bit of the sidewalk on it. And you can pop this in here. And it pops in just fine. That's what she said. Not her, but somebody else. And there you go. Very curious if we're going to get more stuff like this with these Christmas Carol figures, because I like this. I'm not a diorama guy, okay, I'll be honest with you, but I do like these small items. They make a difference in the display. And, you know, you can take this off of here and just have the lamp post itself. That said, now we have the coup de grace of any Figura Obscura release. Moving Our Lady of the Hour out of the way for a minute, we have the packaging. Nate Barch artwork, killing it as usual. On the front and more on the back. On the side, you open up, you got your trifold kind of backdrop piece there. Looks great. It's like the guys from the studio or at Fezziwigs or something I've been hearing, and that's fun, right? That's it. Here's a look at the box. There's that on the side. There's that on the other side and on the back. Very nice packaging. Which, you know, if you've bought one Figura Obscura figure from Four Horsemen, you already knew that the packaging was going to be top-notch from the get-go. I didn't need to tell you that. Really, I didn't. I'm going to actually lean this a bit because this one doesn't want to stand for me as much as some of the other ones. I just hope it stays up. That said, our Ghost of Christmas Past, who I have on a stand because of her petite nature, and she's got a little bit of looseness in the ankles. A little bit. There's some, you know, tension in there, but they're very smooth, and I wish they were a little bit tighter. But other than that, nothing overly loose on this figure. Let's take a look at that head sculpt. So again, this is a hair piece. You could pop it off, but look at that creepy half ghoul, half like sexy elf chick head she's got going on. That is awesome. I like that. Very much reminds me of Two-Face or Jonah Hex from DC Comics, something like that. And something else that's very awesome are these soft goods. It's not like the thickest material. It kind of feels like, gosh, your mom probably has material like this in the house. Feels like something women's clothes are made out of. Very high quality stuff. I used to work at a TJ Maxx, okay? That's how I know that. But the wire this time. I've been on the Horsemen's buttocks, just as customer service, about the wires being a little thin and they break in assembly when they're putting the stuff together. These are thicker, flatter wires that are not broken anywhere on my figure. I can't speak for all of them. And they poke out a little bit where they end. Here, and then down here a little bit on the skirt. But nothing major, okay? Nothing that I feel like I need to clip or get replaced. It feels wonderful this time around. Same with this. This is another wired piece. This wire is actually a little short, but that's not that big a deal. But nothing is poking out. Nothing is like ripping the fabric or anything like that. It's great. I love these soft goods. So as far as her articulation goes, she does have a rotation in the head. She's got up and down. She does have a disc hinge in the head. It looks like her hair is going to pop off on me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh no, never mind. It's fine. But she does have a disc hinge on the head. That works pretty well. I don't know if she's got any... No, she does have some tilt. That works pretty well. Kind of reminds me of the White Witch from Chronicles of Narnia a bit. Or like if Poxus got married, his wife. Her shoulders can go out to the side. She's got new upper arms. They're not the same as Bastette's because they don't have the little bicep bracelet, but they do go out to the side. You rotate forward and back. Hinge at the elbow with rotation. I did have to heat up all the elbow rotation and the wrists on mine, and the waist and the diaphragm, so be mindful of that. But she's got swivel at the wrist with the up and down hinge, so that's good. She does have a diaphragm joint that doesn't allow for a ton of movement, really. At least I'm not getting anything out of that. It's just really a twist. Oh, that was moving like pretty well earlier. Now it just seems to have seized up a bit. No, it's not. It's just tight, which I'm okay with that. She does have a waist twist. As much as that'll give you, because it is kind of keyed to fit a certain way into the torso there. Hips are on the standard, almost said McFarlane, 4 Horsemen, Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, whatever you call it, Legions joints. They go in and out, forward and back. In and out's a little whatever, but forward and back's not bad. Thigh cut's fine. She's definitely not nearly as loose as the Ox Crew. Outpost Zaxius Wave I looked at earlier this year from Cosmic Legions. Those figures had some issues with the looseness. Knees are nice and tight on her. Those work pretty well. She's got a swivel below the knee. That'll work better when you bend it. And then she's got the ball hinge ankles, which again could be a little tighter. So they rotate, they hinge, and they pivot at the foot. So that is your lot for Christmas Past. Very, very nice. I don't know if she's figure of the year. I feel like Anubis is really my Figura Obscura of the year. If I go with my gut and my heart and what I really wanted, you know, I have the Mickey's A Christmas Carol set from Memory Lane, Playing Manus, whatever you call it there, from many, many years ago. So I've had a Christmas Carol set of figures, but here's the deal. I like the more traditional stuff. So this has definitely got a place in my collection, but, you know, when I do the top figures of the year, I tend to pick stuff that, you know, I haven't had before, unless I'm super biased towards the character like Ghost Rider or something, then, you know, I make exceptions. But this is a very awesome release from 4 Horsemen, if anything. So with that being said, why don't we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons, but of a different kind, because I did manage to make a Christmas present and a Christmas future to hold me over until the Horsemen give us some official ones. First up, here is good old Christmas Past from the Figura Obscura line proper by the fine folks over at 4 Horsemen Studios, alongside my, for lack of a better term, Lazy Boy customs of both Christmas Present and Christmas Future, and or yet to come, depending on which version you are checking out of. Good old A Christmas Carol there. And for the Ghosts of Present and Future, I of course used the low-hanging fruit, the retailer version of Father Christmas, complete with the red bearded head. And I also used the Masterverse New Eternia Whiplash as torch accessory with a couple of Marvel Legends swirly twirly flame effects I got from the retro carded Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. And the turkey leg comes from the Super 7 The Worst Ultimates Captain Dead Star. Other than that, it is literally just that green Father Christmas figure. The trim on the robe is inaccurate, but beggars can't be choosers. Also, he should have bare feet and hands, but again, beggars can't be choosers. That said, for Christmas Future, I used one of the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Skeleton Legion Builder 2 figures, and threw on the Super 7 The Worst Ultimates Robot Reaper's robe, and the lantern comes from that green retailer exclusive Father Christmas. I just put a twisty tie in there to act as a handle. That said, so people don't just think this is just a Grim Reaper figure with a lantern, I also have an Ebenezer Scrooge tombstone from the Playing Mantis Memory Lane Mickey's A Christmas Carol Ghosts of Christmas 3-pack. This was an accessory that came with Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Future. And thankfully it says Ebenezer Scrooge and not Scrooge McDuck, or I'd look like a major doofus. So, getting Christmas present out of here, I'd actually like to bring in the only other Christmas Carol character Four Horsemen have given us, the Ghost of Jacob Marley, the first ghost that encounters Ebenezer Scrooge in our story there. So, I got the whole set, man. I wasn't waiting no 2-3 years for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So getting this tombstone out of the way so we can safely move these two out of the way. Starting to look like the Nightmare Before Christmas instead of the Christmas Carol, but that's besides the point. Everyone knows Christmas Carol's a darker Christmas tale. Next up we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions Brother Mandibulus, right there, and the infamous 11 Spawn, who is about, well, if we count her crown, neck and neck with good old Christmas Past here. So, with that being said, it is time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while it does kind of suck that we have to wait at least another 2 to 3 years before we can finally complete our Figura Obscura Christmas Carol set from the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios, I have to admit that releasing them individually like they've done with good old Christmas Past here, as well as with Jacob Marley last year, is probably for the best, because the Horsemen get to really flesh out these characters and make them that much more special, which, I have to be honest in saying, I feel like they would have done that anyways, but look, I just wanted to get all the Christmas Carol ghosts banged out in one 3-pack because I'm only human, and I am a human who also happens to be quite impatient with certain things. I mean, we've been waiting 2 years for Poxus and Necronominus, and probably Rising Suns at this rate. I think making us wait 3 years for a Christmas Carol is a bit much, but I don't work for the company, I don't run the company, so I don't know how any of that works. That said, I have to say that the quality on Christmas Past here is very, very nice. I am very happy with this release. The joints are solid, nothing is too loose, nothing is too tight. Maybe some things could be a little bit tighter, particularly in the ankles, but nothing is worth replacing or fixing or anything like that. And the same thing can be said for the soft goods. The soft goods are very, very nice, and I am very, very happy with them as well, especially the wire. They went with a flatter, thicker wire, and while it may not be able to pose quite as well as some wires, particularly what McFarlane uses, which are big chunky SOBs, they're at least not going to break when they're putting the darn thing together. So that makes me a very, very happy camper indeed. Especially since it's been a bit of a rocky year for Four Horsemen here on the channel. Especially if you watched any of my Cosmic Legion's Outpost Zaxius Wave reviews. You know that I wasn't too fond of some of those figures. But before we wrap this sucker up, we have a little black baggie to open up and check out the hidden surprise inside. And if I can get this thing open in a reasonable amount of time, we can see that... What in the name of baby Jesus' birthday is that? Some total freaking nightmare fuel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think of that song Cry of the Banshee from the band Brockushelm when I look at this thing. I mean, if that's not some Darby O'Gill and the Little People BS, I don't know what is. So, yeah, we get this terrifying, screaming, Mimi female head sculpt. It does have the removable hair piece, so you can interchange it with the hair from this figure, but we're just gonna pop that right back in, and we are going to stick it back in this bag where it can never hurt our souls again, because that was freaking terrifying. I can't say I've crapped my pants when opening many figures, but got pretty close with that one. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and or a Happy Holiday, whatever you may celebrate. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.